This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Next up, we've got Raw on August 11th, and it's an all-time major main event in the history of Raw. Rick Rude debuts as the insurance policy and hits Mankind with a chair to help Shawn Michaels defeat him in what is going to become known as Degeneration X. It's sort of interesting in hindsight. Mick is here for a lot of these major moments in Raw history. Is he not?
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of his peers were always willing to work and to be unselfish with Mick because they liked him so much, and they knew that he would do the same thing for them. So he was a very compatible person to book in that regard. But that's just what you get when you get a guy. That's like I said earlier. You want the guys like that in your locker room.
Right.
You want guys like that, Conrad, talking to the young talent. Don't get too down about your push and all this other horse shit. Come on. And Mick was just a great motivator. I think he took a lot of that from his father, being a coach and a teacher. He was an educator. And I think Mick took pride in that aspect of his game.
Let's keep it rolling here and talk about the next week on Raw. It's another milestone main event. Longtime enemies, The Undertaker and Mankind, team up to take on Triple H and Shawn Michaels. And that leads to Shawn absolutely destroying The Undertaker with a chair. And Taker is bleeding big time. This is, it feels like Raw is hitting a groove here in the summer of '97. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah. It's fun to go to work every week. Because guys that were seeing, like, the DX thing, for example, just using that as one example, they were getting a new lease on life. It wasn't like Road Dogg and Billy Gunn were two young kids. They'd been around. They'd paid their dues. They were skilled in-ring performers, but they were getting a fresh start with something that had meaning and significance. So it was exciting to come to work because you fed off the excitement and the passion of the talents who are having the time of their life and making a lot of money. Like, we can't factor that out. They're making an awful lot of money in that time period. So, and when you get guys that are making a lot of money, you have two issues to deal with. One is they're happy. How do you keep them happy? That's important. And secondly, they start worrying about when's it going to end.
Right.
It's inevitable. So you got to deal with that too. So if they're not booked like they perceive they need to be booked on this TV, or they perceive that this next job is going to hurt them in a major way, you got to deal with that stuff. And again, they still talking off the ledge cliche again. But I enjoyed it, man. We were having so much fun, and we're allowed some creative freedom. Lawler and I had some creative freedom. There was a time there where Vince is so involved in these new characters and getting all this stuff done that he was not in our ear incessantly. He got worse, and some dealt with it and some couldn't. I was lucky enough that I could deal with it. And so I don't know why that is, but I've always said, I was raised by a guy that was harder on me than Vince ever was, and he was my father. So I toughened up. Look, I'm making good money, man. It sure as shit beats hauling hay and cutting wood in Eastern Oklahoma farm.
Agree.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I approached it. I love that time. It was so exciting to see the talents. It's funny, Conrad, in that era, we had very little tardiness of talents reporting to work.
Yeah. Everybody wanted to be there.
They wanted to be there. Didn't want to miss a damn thing.
Yeah.
And the earlier they got there, the earlier they had the opportunity to talk to a writer or Vince or whomever it may be about the creative. So, we had done a nice job in talent relations, I think, of making sure that they were paid well. They're getting their fair share. Hell, even the referees were making more money than they ever made in their life.
Right.
The agents, Jack Lenz had been there for frigging ever. So that was these payoffs are the best I've ever gotten since I've worked here. I took care of the referees and I took care of the agents, and consequentially, they went above and beyond to deliver. And look, that's the simplest formula in the world. You know that. You pay your people, they're going to do good work for you.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
I get it. It's a wrestling podcast, but he's saving us money on our mortgage. You really trust this process? The reviews don't lie. 5-star review after 5-star review. We make it fast, we make it easy, and it's no cost or obligation. Give us a shot to earn your business. I'm telling you, you'll be glad you did, especially if you like keeping more of your own money. You don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket, so what are you waiting for? Hurry to savewithconrad.com.
This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Mankind starts to be phased down and transition to a tag team wrestler. He's going to be teaming with Vader to take on Owen and Davey Boy for the tag titles at his first WrestleMania. Of course, that's WrestleMania 13. It's probably everybody's dream, especially in that era, to work on a WrestleMania. And at this point, he's years deep in the business as Cactus Jack, and he's been everywhere: WCW, ECW, Japan, and now he finds himself here at WrestleMania, but it's in a tag match, and he's not exactly a tag wrestler.
No.
Is it still exciting, do you think, on his behalf? Hey, I'm finally at a WrestleMania, or is it a little disappointing that, damn, kind of wish it was as a singles?
Well, I'm sure he did wish it as a single.
Yeah.
But I think the thrill of being at WrestleMania and being on the card and being on television, in kind of an all-star ensemble cast, Davey and Owen were pretty well, made they're on the Hall of Fame list, assuming at that point in time. Vader, Hall of Fame guy. So he was surrounded by very stellar company. But I think that Mick was probably just thankful to be there. That's the kind of guy he is. But if you do the deep dive, he probably would like to have been in a singles match. That's what he was. He was a singles wrestler. But he was booked, Conrad. He was booked. And he earned a WrestleMania payoff. And I think that would trump anything that Mick would be thinking. He's going to get a nice payday out of finally working at WrestleMania.
Well, unfortunately, he doesn't win the tag titles. Owen and Davey Boy retained. They went to a double count out with Vader and Mankind, 16 minutes and 8 seconds. Meltzer would say this was a good match with a lame non-finish, which served to ask the question what the purpose of the match was, since neither team even teased the turn. Mankind got the mandible claw on Smith. As Vader kept Hart from making the save, he knocked Hart into Mankind, and both Mankind and Smith tumbled to the floor for the double count out. 2.5 stars. This, I understand Dave asking, hey, what's the point of this? But at the same time, the point of this is let's get as many guys a WrestleMania payday as we can first. And
bingo.
foremost. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you got 4 good men paydays that all contributed during the year and deserved to be on that show. I'm not crazy about the finish either. I don't, unless you're returning it, unless you got a long-term program that you got planned and you need another brick in the wall, as Pink Floyd might say, and get you down the road a little farther to continue this storyline. I can understand a double count out, but I really, but only if that's the only way. And I challenge bookers and creative types to make sure that, you don't have to, we're protecting people from what? There's going to be more reaction from the audience if there's a winner and a loser and not a double count out.
Right.
It's swimming upstream, so to speak, in unnecessary. But be that as it may, that's the only downside I can see of that situation. If that had a hot finish, that match would have got another star or so, I think, on the Meltzer scale, if that matters to people. So I didn't like the finish, but I like the fact all those guys are getting payoffs and getting on the show.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money, it's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at savewithconrad.com. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money, it's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at savewithconrad.com.